May I have a motion to adopt May 4th regular meeting agenda as presented? Councillor Thompson, do I have a second? Councillor Butler. All in favor? So carried. I have a motion for council to adopt April 20th special meeting on camera as presented. Councillor Shagan. Councillor Thompson. All in favor? So carried. I also have a motion for council to adopt the April 20th public hearing minutes as presented. Councillor Butler, Councillor Shagan. Is there any discussion? All in favor? So carried. Now, may I have a motion to adopt the April 20th regular meeting minutes as presented? Councillor Butler, do I have a seconder? Councillor Thompson. And if there's no discussion, all in favor? So carried. Now move on to our reports, questions, and inquiries from members of council. May I have a motion that all the written reports from members of council be received? Councillor Verschegen. Councillor Hammond. Councillor Butler.
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a comment on the report that I wrote. There was some discussion with staff surrounding some of the figures that were disclosed in that report. And although the figures were accurate, I just wanted to clarify after talking with staff that the legal costs that were reported for 2013 were higher than previous years because some of that money was held in trust by the law firm that was then spent on the purchase of the property, formerly known as MAP, or still where Whispers of Hope is. So legal fees in other years aren't quite as expensive as they were in 2013. As far as the other figures, those are still as they were reported.
Any other discussion or debate? All in favor of that motion to receive? Councillor Butler, Councillor Thompson. All opposed?
We're with you.
Okay. So carried. Councillor Carr is not present this evening, so we will receive his report if there is one. Is there a report from Councillor Carr? Not that we're aware of. So, that was a motion now. Let that one go. So we move on to recommendations from staff for decision. Our Manager of Development and Engineering Services. Subject is approval to proceed with the remediation of the city's gravel pit and amend the 2015 financial plan.
Mr. Mayor, our Manager of Engineering and Development Services will speak to that.
Please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Since we introduced my memo to council on April 7th, we've had a geotech come in and undertake an investigation of the city's pit. The report is attached to the request for decision, and basically it states the steps in taking out the remediation. We've also had a survey completed on the gravel pit. We have sent a response letter to the regional district notifying them that we've received their letter and that we're looking into the matter. We've also notified FortisBC of the situation, and we've determined costs to be approximately in the $175,000 range. So basically we're asking council to approve staff to proceed with the remediation and amend the 2015 financial plan utilizing surplus funds to a max of $175,000.
So, Mr. Mayor, this is the Fortis power line, the main transmission line, and this is the excavation, the property line of the landfill where the current landfill operations are. This is the city's vacant land here. In some years past, this was excavated out by, I believe, a contractor, somebody worked for the city many years ago. And what happened was they didn't prepare the slope properly, and as a result, there's been a lot of erosion here. We have a stockpile of material here that's going to be used in this process, and there'll be some other materials down here, not the bus. But it'll be meant to remediate this. What's happening though is there's some undermining of this through the years of the base of the platforms that hold these main transmission lines. So it is an emergency style project that will help stabilize that slope. In the future, we'll determine what this property will be used for through council, but it is something that we need to address right away.
So may I have a motion that to proceed with the remediation of the city's gravel pit amended 2015 financial plan using surplus to fund the remediation? Councillor Rashagan, Councillor Thompson, all in favor? Discussion? Councillor Rashagan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So if I have this correct, at this point in time, this is not an active gravel pit, the site. It's just essentially vacant being the fire department. But,
yeah, we don't have a permit with the Ministry of Mines for extrication of materials from there. The Crown would get their cut of any materials taken out of that gravel pit, anything in excess of 10,000 cubic meters. Okay. But we don't have an active mines permit.
Councillor Butler.
My microphone's not working. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to staff, is there any option of going back on the contractor that originally did this work to collect any shaking in your head?
No, sorry, Councillor Butler. The situation was something that, was really a responsibility of the two parties to ensure that that was looked after. And the contractor that was here at the time that was doing the work for the city left that work, and that was, I'm going to say, around 10 years ago. So it's been several years since that has transpired. In this situation here with the manager of engineering and operations, manager of engineering development services, they would enter into a contract. But in this contract, we would actually expressly ask for these situations to be managed in a geotech report to accompany the work being done. So that wasn't the case at the time. I don't believe that there was an intent to create this over excavation. What happens is it eroded over time, and we can see the importance of maintaining the slope.
Any other questions? Councillor Butler.
Thank you. I'm just curious on how much we've spent so far with the geotech survey and a breakdown of 175,000. Apparently, we're going to be using the fill that's already there on the site. So I'm just curious, why set 175,000 fill a hole?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, that's equipment. There's a lot of equipment that needs to be brought in, and there's a lot of material that needs to be moved, and there's costs associated with that.
So it's not something, through Mr. Mayor, that's not something that city staff is able to do for us?
Mr. Mayor, in this situation, the type of equipment that would be used to remediate that type of soil would be a large excavator. That would be a maximum of $175,000. We haven't tendered this process, and according to our purchasing policy, it would be tendered out. We're hoping that we can maximize the materials that we have in there. We were trying to bring in some of the materials from the slag pile as well. The maximum amount that we're looking at here is $175,000. That will take us to remediate the slope. It does seem like a lot of money, but there is draining. There's a lot of cleanup of overburden. You can see this is blacktop in here, old blacktop that's been from other job sites. So there's a lot of extra work involved with this. We're hoping that the price is going to come in under that. But when we go with the schedule of quantities that we would typically see based on this, what's happened is there's been a survey undertaken, and an amount of quantities has been determined as an estimate. And what we do now with that estimate is base that against industry practices. So based on the quantities that we're looking at, the industry practices would suggest that this is what we'd be looking at from a rough contract price. A contractor may come in with another solution that may bring that price down, but at this point in time, that is roughly what we're looking at. So it's based on a pre-prescribed amount of quantities in industry.
Do we have any environmental issues by dumping fill in there?
At this point, no. Well, the only concern was this, if this was going to be considered, this pond here was going to be considered to be groundwater or overflow, or was considered to be having an ecosystem. If it was considered to be having an ecosystem, then we would have to provide remediation or compensation. So we would have to work with a biologist to determine what type of environmental challenges we might encounter.
But then the cost would go up.
Absolutely.
Councillor Butler?
Just curious on how long this project should take.
Where the full comes out.
Yeah. Oh, how long for the actual work to be undertaken?
Yeah, to get it started, but then also from start to completion, is this a 2-week project or will it take longer?
I would, yes, Mr. Mayor, I would say it would not take longer than a month. Should be less than a month.
What sense of urgency do we have that we have to proceed like when we talk? We can't let it go long, obviously.
Well, it's been like that for so long, and it just continuously erodes. Now that the regional district has forwarded a letter to us and made
So there's
us
no
aware.
known amount, it could go tomorrow.
This is
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
this is the area of concern though, right here, where the power line is, and this is the blocks that are in place, and they're starting to erode quite a bit there.
Any other questions or concerns? So, have a motion on the table, all in favor? So carried. Again, from Management of Development and Engineering Services, our next topic is the application for a development variance permit to construct an accessory building on the property located at 7580 16th Street.
I'll make that motion to approve it.
Our second. No presentation.
Well, unless you have questions, otherwise. Sorry, can I just say, we've had, 3 people in favor of this variance application, so I just want to count them all up.
Did we have any opposition? No. Thank you. Any discussions or debate? Councillor Butler?
Yeah, I went out and took a look at the property today. I hope nobody thought I was sweeping around. I just wanted-
that's your Dodge pickup, was it?
I saw you sitting there, so I better not linger too much. But yeah, your property is very well taken care of. I'm just curious if is there any conflict? Are you related to Mr. Copan, and how would the building inspection, sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor, how would the building inspection process?
He's my cousin.
Yeah, so do we have to get an outside inspector? It's okay?
We're not on that subject right now. We're only approving the variance.
Right, yeah,
There's no building inspections to be done at this point. I don't think it requires building inspectors on the variance.
It's an engineering building.
yeah, I think it.
If it's an engineered building, then the engineering, I believe, would take care of all of it.
Yeah.
So there would be no possible conflict, am I correct?
His permit would be treated the same as anybody else that came in.
Probably worse.
It's just a perception of
It'll
conflict.
get scrutinized a little bit.
It's actually worse.
So if there's no further discussion or debate, all in favor? So carried. We now move on to our Manager of Building Inspection and Bylaw Services. And the subject is to provide the property owner and or tenant of 7433 Riverside Drive the opportunity to be heard under the bylaw of unsightly premise.
Yes, Mayor and Council, I see that the gentleman that owns the property is not here, so apparently does not want to be heard by council. So at this time, what I was requesting with this is so that we can proceed with this. Last year, we did the first notice and we started to clean up. Then late in the fall, we had excessive numbers of tarps put over the buildings. Sent them the second notice, I've given them 60 days because of the amount of work that has to be done. As soon as that 60 days expires, I want to proceed with the third notice. And we have to go to section 74 and force the cleanup, and we will. But that'll be a decision that'll be brought before the council after this third notice goes out.
Councillor Hammond?
I believe we have photos, is it possible?
This is the, sorry, if I may, this is the property that's in behind Donuts.
Right behind Happy Days
Yeah.
Donuts, or Happy Days Restaurant, or
Point of
whatever.
order, do we need to receive this before we?
Yeah, we should make.
Yeah, for sure. Before we start discussion, so
I'll
may
make that motion.
I have a motion? Councilor Butler, Councilor Hammond, so now.
What was the motion?
Proceed for discussion,
With no action.
not this time.
Not at this time, just.
Okay.
So you can carry on.
I was
Councilor
just,
Hammond.
yes, Counselor.
So the actual motion is for council to authorize staff to proceed with the third and final notice after extension has expired on June 9th, 2015, just for clarification. That's what I'd like. Discussion, Councilor Thompson.
Yes, thank you, your worship, through you to the building inspectors, that premise being occupied? It's unoccupied,
There hasn't been anybody in it for a number of years.
and our service is still connected?
That, I don't know. I haven't gone that deep into it yet. I'm just trying to get the tarps off the roof and
Yeah.
get cleaned up because it's right at our gateway to our city.
Is it a local resident?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lives up near the hospital.
Councilor Butler.
I'm just curious, obviously the tarps are on there because the roof is leaking.
That's correct.
So if we get them to remove the tarps,
And recover the roof with metal, shingles, whatever,
right,
to
which
prevent the
is
leaking.
probably expensive, and that's why he's not
Yeah.
doing it, right?
More than likely.
If there's no occupant.
No.
So, i.e., why would he do the roof?
Correct.
Any other questions or debate? So, all in favor of the motion? So carried. Okay. Again, Borough Manager of Building Inspection and Bylaw Services to proceed with the demolition of the fire damaged property at 721 65th Avenue. I need a motion for council to authorize the expenditure of up to $15,000 and proceed with demolition and cleanup of 721 65th Avenue. This will be expensed into 2015 with an offsetting revenue this year and will not affect general taxation. I have that motion. Councilor Rashid, Secretary Councilor Butler. Discussion or debate? Councilor Rashid.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through your staff. In my opinion, this is something that has to be done. It should have been done a long time ago, but I guess the process itself moves at a glacial speed when it comes to premises. However, as the preamble to this request for decision mentions, I'm just, I guess, for clarification purposes, it mentions the portion, I recall the credit union being involved and saying they were going to clear up the connections here, and then it got transferred over or bought out by an insurance corporation. Like, how does that, I don't quite.
Mayor, Council, yeah. Just before it was going to court to be settled, another insurance company bought out the claim and paid off the credit union, paid the mortgage out, and took over this claim. How that procedure works, I don't know, but I got hold of the new insurance company shortly after that. And they requested a short period of time to try and get this settlement done. I spoke with her just before I got this to council, and they are prepared to use this as a bargaining chip to close this settlement once and for all. And go from there.
Yeah, as long as I'm completely in favor of this, I want to see that property cleaned up. It needs to be done. So however if that looks, it's
Yeah.
necessary.
It's just that we're gonna have to endure the cost of the tipping fees and cleanup of the property initially. And either the insurance companies or the taxes will pay it at the end of the year. Or before.
So there is a chance of recouping. Garcia, Mr. Allen.
Just a quick question, do we have coverage for the environmental assessment because of the fire damage? Because I know we've encountered that before. Is that one of these
Well,
costs?
I've had WorkSafe on site, and we had a 2006 building permit on this place, and he deemed that the materials in that building do not need an environmental assessment to continue to clean this property.
Any other questions? All in favor? So carried. We now move on to our bylaws section. Subject and matter for the manager of development and engineering to amend the current zoning bylaw by adding the permitted use of tool and equipment rental facilities to the I2 general industrial zone. And I would like a motion for council to give final reading to zoning amendment bylaw number 1606A2 2015. Councilor Butler, do I have a second? Councilor Rashagan, discussion? All in favor? So carried. Again, to management development engineering, to amend the current zoning bylaw by rezoning property located at 832 64th Avenue from current R1 single and two-family residential zone to R4 rural residential zone.
I would like to make a motion to refer this.
Yes, Councilor Rashagan. Do I have a second to refer? Any discussion or debate? Because it was a public meeting. The public hearing, I should say.
We can't speak to it from.
Yeah, we're referring it, so we'll have the
Oh, right,
discussion at the meeting. So it's referred to May 25th meeting?
That's what I'm suggesting, yeah.
All in favor? So carried. From our Chief Financial Officer, the 2015 tax rates bylaw 2012, that council give final reading to 2015 tax rate bylaw 2012. Motion, Councilor Thompson. Second, Councilor Rashagan. Debate or discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Councilor Butler.
And recorded, please. Mr. Lindsay.
So carried. Again, from the Chief Financial Officer, the 2015 wastewater rates amendment. Motion that council give final reading to bylaw 2013 sewer regulation amendment 2015. Councilor Thompson, Councilor Rashagan. Do I have any discussion or debate? All in favor? So carried. Again, from our Chief Financial Officer Department, the 2015 water rates amendment. Council give final reading to bylaw 2014 water regulation amendment 2015. Councilor Rashagan, Councilor Thompson. Debate or discussion? Councilor Butler.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to reiterate, I don't have any problem with the water rates that are set for this year, but as I wasn't sitting on council when this bylaw was first passed, I still do have an issue with the $25 manual recharge. I think it's prohibitive for people that choose to have a manual read meter. So I'll be voting against it.
Any other questions or concerns? All in favor? All opposed? Councilor Butler. So carried. Late items. We now move on to the section of questions from the public and the media. May I please ask you that you refrain from any subjects that are not on the agenda. Councilor back.
Les Johnson, I was just pointing out, I noticed Councilor Butler had a sticker shock on the price of remediating $175,000. When the Grand Forks Hotel burned down, I think that the insurance companies were saying it was gonna cost $100,000 to get rid of the rubble. So you have rubble in there as well, just pointing it out.
Thank you. Any other questions? Gentleman in the front.
Hamilton, would it, there's a concept in construction called targeting. And according to Mr. Allen, the issue in that $175,000 problem is where the what's it called? It's eroding right next to the, what's it called? For about less than $10,000, you could remedy just that area. You could simply put up more bulwark and put that so that that area does not go down. Perhaps maybe $20,000 at the outside. You can cart some of that stuff over there. Over it. That's my opinion. I'll leave it with you.
Thank you for your comment. Any other questions or concerns? Does anybody want to address any questions? Councillor Button?
Just curious in response to the gentleman's question in the back there with regards to Grand Forks Hotel. Isn't there asbestos removal involved in that property?
I do might have been, but I,
didn't think that this was asbestos.
We have any other questions or concerns?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Councilor Bashir, all in favor? So carried. This meeting